that real hip hop.
Y'all know how we do.
You're listening to Philly's own Matthias, aka Mr. 16 Bars, that real hip hop.
We try to tell people that Philly is a special breed. They hate to see us on top, they hate to see us on. They hate to see us come up, they hate we on. They hate the moves that we make because it's made to break them. We give them knowledge on tracks and hope our words can save them. I guess it's hard to give props when you know you lesser. So we right on your heels, I hope you feel the pressure. Rappers faking a role, my shoes will never fit them. Before you come at a king, I let my soldiers get them. I'm from Philly with hot corn.
We're now joined by Mr. Jonathan Daddis, pianist virtuoso. Welcome to Philly on the Rise. How are you, man?
Michael, thanks for having me. I'm doing great. Really appreciate being here.
Yeah, I am glad that you are here. We're glad that you are here. Blues, funk, jazz, classical, Broadway. These are some of the genres that you have covered on your piano. And you started playing this piano at an early age.
Yeah, it's true. I was fortunate enough. My parents got me a teacher when I was 5, which wasn't all that common back then. And man, you couldn't peel me away from the piano. I just loved it right from the start and just voraciously practiced.
Fast forward till today, there's so many artists that you have played with, spanning all of those genres that I just mentioned. Name some of those artists that you have played with.
I've been lucky enough to play alongside like Los Lobos, and we talked about String Cheese and Care DeGuardi and um, Far Side Roots. I actually had a crazy experience with P. Diddy, of all people. So the list is long, but I've been around, so there's
Yeah,
been a lot.
yeah. Brian McKnight is on that list. Lady Gaga is on that list.
Right. Yep. Brian McKnight, Michael Bolton would be on that list, I think. Yeah, man, crazy. And to your point, across all these genres, I think I love jazz and classical and gospel probably the most, but man, I've definitely developed a hybrid approach to the piano and music.
Good stuff, brother. Good stuff. And you mentioned Los Lobos. Something crazy happened with Los Lobos and the cheese. What happened with that situation?
I love it, dude. So I was in a group called Blind Man's Son, and we had just gotten back from Arizona. We were gonna go record in Vermont with Dan Archer. Dan Archer was working along with John Fishman and the guys from Fish with Pink Tornado and all this stuff. And so on the way, we were gonna play this festival, the Berkshire Mountain Music Festival, and Los Lobos, String Cheese Incident, um, DJ Shadow. I mean, there was probably 20 bands there. And anyway, typical jam band festival. Uh, and the weather really turned on us, which was fine. That wasn't uncommon. But ultimately, we all got stuck there. The entire festival, probably 15,000 people for the next 4 days. And so I don't know if this is funny as it is cool, but what ended up happening was probably a great deal of debauchery. That's why it was funny, but just an amazing amount of off the cuff jam sessions with all of those bands was absolutely like a once in a lifetime experience. And it all happened because of what was truly a combo experience where that's the funny part is you didn't just get reined in. It was like this slow realization over the course of like a 12-hour period as like our tour bus is sliding down the mountain sideways. Like, oh snap, we're really staying in the mountains for however long it takes. So anyway, that's just a random one.
You also mentioned P. Diddy and had a crazy experience with him. I can't let that go by.
Yeah.
What was that
So
P. Diddy experience?
that one was a bit nuts. Always struck me. So I I was in LA and I was told I was going to be auditioning for, there was like a contest to audition for his band. And it turns out it was like kind of this bait and switch where it's really for a reality show. But again, show up and there's probably 10 or 12,000 people in this Universal City, like in this huge lot. And we're there for like umpteen hours. And anyway, I get down to the final 16 people. I think there's four in each instrument. And so now we're gonna hang out with P Diddy for a bit, and we're gonna play and jam. And just at that point, I don't think I'm even fitting the right vibe, but I'm stoked to be in there. But they come in, the producer comes in and says, "Okay, Diddy's about to come in. No one can look at him in the eyes. Absolutely not, or you're out of here." And it just blew my mind, Michael, that like I've been in LA a long time, but this was so next level, and it was being executed. Like, right, right? Like he had a producer willing to come tell us this, and then everyone fell in line.
Wow.
Everyone fell in line and it didn't look at him in the eyes, and he just acted like he was like, ready to murder someone, like he was just playing the character, and we all just played along with this whole thing. It was just crazy. I mean, this is beyond infantilized. Like he had just created this alter world. So it was just that was one of the craziest stories of anybody that I'd met. So and then it turned out to be for that reality show anyway. So the whole thing was sort of a hoax, um, but that I got a lot of crazy LA stories, no doubt about that.
You mentioned LA. You also lived in New York for a while, but the Philadelphia area is your home.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm back there. I've been back here for about 10 years, although I'm probably traveling a third of the time, I would say. One of the great things about in the Northeast is you have, 8 great markets that are close. So I can like almost tour around and still have 3 young sons and still be home most of the time and all of that stuff, which made LA much more challenging. I was out there for, I guess, 8.5 years. But after a while, you're like, wanted to be a dad.
Yeah, of course, of course. You want to be a dad home with your three boys as much as possible. You also recently released an album. Talk to us about the album.
Yeah, so in May, I signed a deal with Mother West Records out in LA, and this is my debut release off their record label. It's called Late Bloomer, and it's a mix of some swing, some gospel, and some of that sort of hybrid classical contemporary stuff, like Radiohead's Creep is on there. All solo piano on this one. And I go back into the studio with them in February. We're gonna do a bunch of Johnny Mercer music. They have all the rights to all the Johnny's catalog. So gonna do a cool record of that stuff.
You've got some stuff going on with City Winery. I know you'll be hitting the City Winery in the Philadelphia market very shortly.
Yeah, besides so I have an album release show, and holiday show there. What is it again? That's Sunday, the 22nd, December 22nd. And then I'll be back Friday, December 27th at City Winery again, playing the Quincy Jones tribute show. And then I'll be at City Winery, New York, the following week, January 4th, doing that same Quincy show. And I got all sorts of great musicians on these gigs. Tate Berkey on drums, Rob Colligan on bass, Nicky Bowman on vocals, Ross Sunday on bass, Elliot Garland on bass, CC Hamilton on drums, Chaz Ladson on drums. I had to get them all in there. But those are some of like the best guys in Philly. So I'm very blessed be able to jam with all of them.
We talked about the Quincy Jones show. Talk to us about the impact that he has had in music and on your career.
Yeah, well, I mean, a guy like that, dude, it really ends up transcending even the music piece, you know, like he clearly, here's a guy who wrote across genres, right? Who produced across genres, right? To a level that's just mind-bogglingly prolific. But anyone who seems to have gotten to know him just speaks to his humanness being far more of his focus and far more of his teachings, and far more of his life. So that I think this life of chasing um being a good human and using mantras and prayer and all these things to create a spiritual life. I think that's probably his biggest impact truly to those around him. But you know, musically, just a monster. I don't even know how you can like put it into words, you know? Just did so much.
Well, Jonathan, you've got so many great and amazing things happening. You've got the album release, you've got the shows, you've got the Quincy Jones tribute. 2025 is going to be an amazing year for you. Tell us what's on the stove for 2025.
Mm. So I would say some of the most exciting things is the Johnny Mercer record with Mother West. I got a bunch of shows out in LA that I'm excited about. I'll be in Boston and DC quite a bit this year. Excited about that. And then uh, the jam band that I was in, called Blind Man's Son, that I was talking about earlier, who did that festival. They reunited in LA just this past fall. We played City Stock out there. We'll be reuniting out here in New York later this month at Brooklyn Made, and then I think be doing a lot in 2025 as well. And man, I'm a road warrior. I'll be busy gigging all year. That's you know pretty much almost all booked up. So that's the lifestyle.
That is the lifestyle indeed. Well, once again, Jonathan, congratulations on all of your success. Much more success is due to you. Thanks for joining
Michael,
us on this episode on Philly on the Rise, and we'll see you soon.
Michael, thank you. I really appreciate being here.